Hi, this is a very quick update in respect to the current version of the standard clauses document that is used by the plan checkers. To access this document, you would go to the plan checking tab, which is here. Click on that and navigate down to this particular button here that says Win or Mac Auto Conditional. And once you're in that particular field, you'll see that this particular page comes up, which allows a plan checker to just select clauses by selecting a code, which is here. Okay, and you select that, and then it automatically puts a clause condition here, and of course you then have to update this particular field here as to whether or not you're making a general comment, whether or not the building regulation condition has not been met, they do not comply, and of course whether or not upon a resubmission the condition now applies, the actual requirement has been met. This particular update is to do with now version it's version 22, but it's now published up to the 1st of July 2020 is the most current version. And if you need to access the actual document while doing a plan check, you now just have to click on this button here. There's a couple of other features that I want to show you. One of them is obviously this key search keywords in the catalogue. So if you click on that, it brings up a part of the database which gives this searchable administrator editable standard clause table. So if you, for instance, wanted to find a clause to do with trees, for instance, you just click on Find and just write in here trees, and now you can see it's found one record out of 194 and which talks about trees, as you can see there. It'll do that on a number of areas. It's dependent on what you're trying to search, really. I'm not saying it covers every single instance, but we're doing our best to increase its capabilities over the coming many months that's ahead of us. So in order to access the current standard clause booklet, I've provided a button right here, and it always gives you an update there as to what version you're downloading. Now the catalogue is linked to the clauses that you see here. Okay, so if I want to take a look at the clause, the actual current booklet, I would then just click on this, and there it's connected up to our website, and the standard clause document has appeared. Now if I actually scrolled down through this, the key changes in the 1st of July 2020 edition is there's a new cover page, and on the inside it gives you general details of how to access the clauses. So there's 2 pages of that you can see here, giving you the steps, and especially in terms of the updating of fields, etc. Then it goes into the standard clause itself. Now currently the design is laid out so we have a clause number, we have the clause itself, the text itself that's associated to the clause number, and then there are comment boxes here which I populate these so that the plan checker knows when it is appropriate to use this clause. So if you took a look at SC13, the comment made here is that it's only used particularly when a foundation is excavated beyond 1.5 meters into clay soils and ground may heave. There's a potential of ground heaving. So when you go down through here, there's a number of clauses, as you can see here, that have these guidance notes which steers the plan checker to check the appropriateness of using these clauses. That's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be checking here first. The key change I've made under the 1st of July 2020 version is now at the end of the document. If I scroll right down to the end, I've now included this particular page here. If I just move that out a bit so you can get a bit more real estate. There is now a page to do with the requirements, see, material changes of uses, and you can see here, sorry it's in a landscape mode, but I'm not sure if I can turn it. Let me just see if I can. Rotate, right, oh yeah, here we can. So we've now got this page in here that if you're checking a set of plans which involves a material change of use, I've now given you all of the requirements that must be checked. These are the common requirements. And then over here, specific requirements to each category. So if you take a look at specific requirements here, and we're looking at change of use under A, everything this side would relate to this side. Okay, so I'm just making that clear. So if we took a look at, say, a public building, here under category E, the building is used as a public building where previously it was not. So even under category E, all of these are common requirements, but then when I go across, here are specific requirements that would apply as well. Okay. Moving on from that, you can then also see I've included in the appendix at the back of the document now a clarification of the definition of a material alteration. And let me see if I can turn that around. Bring it back. There we go. Now you've got this definition of a material alteration. And the key thing about this is when you read it, remember regulation 3.2, an alteration is material for the purpose of these regulations if the work or any part of the work of it would at any stage result in A, in a building or controlled surface or fitting not complying with a relevant requirement where previously it did, or B, in a building or controlled surface or fitting which before the work commenced did not comply with a relevant requirement, being more unsatisfactory in relation to such a requirement. That would typically occur when you've got these loft conversions being put on and the ground floor is open plan. You know, in that instance you're making it worse by putting a loft conversion on, and it's showing, and it's what this is ultimately saying under regulation 3.2 is that you can then control it and tell them to put back things that have been removed, like fire protecting corridors, etc. Now you've got to look out for this word relevant requirement, and regulation 3 subparagraph 3 defines what a relevant requirement is, and I have appropriately listed all of the relevant requirements at the bottom here. So during the plan check you're applying the scrutiny checks accordingly as to whether or not it's a material alteration you're dealing with, or of course whether or not it's a material change of use. Okay, this ends the update in terms of the current 1st of July edition release of the standard clauses for plan checkers.